Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show! Nick, do you want to kick off some player intro? Kay, did you just dab?
No, I was doing this.
Oh, okay. Out of the corner of my eye, I looked like
I don't dab.
That's not very Kay.
Ladies don't dab.
Alright. Nick, do you want to kick off some player introductions? And then I'll do announcements and a recap. Okay, we'll get into it.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Sir Thaddeus Hammerlock, the Human Vengeance Paladin.
I'm Kay. I play Harmony, who is a tiefling wild magic sorcerer.
I'm Zach. I play Zant, who is a human fighter ranger.
I'm Melissa. I play Mara, who is a human swashbuckler. Bro,
Swashbuckler?
say it!
Swashbuckler.
It's backwards!
Swashbuckler.
Swashbuckler.
So, we premiere our
Swashbuckler?
episodes on YouTube every Monday at
Yes,
7
I
p.m.
buckle
Pacific
those
time.
swaps.
We use a variety of custom items as well as a custom wild magic table.
Swashbuckler.
Swass.
Swashbuckler.
It's going to be one of those episodes.
Yep.
Isn't it? Alright, good. Our music comes from BattleBards, TabletopAudio, and Incompetech.
No.
What's up with you guys today?
I'm sorry. We're listening.
I mean, you don't have to listen to this, but I've got to say it. Our
Right.
character portraits on the info cards in the top right corner were drawn by an artist named Carrie Peach, goes by @CarrieDraws on Twitter. You can check the video description to links and info to every.
I'm just not going to make eye contact.
Check the video description. There's stuff there. Then follow us on Twitter @AntiheroesAnon if you want more information about what we're doing and when. Though after this introduction, I don't know why you would.
Are you kidding?
Other than that, follow us
We're delightful.
on YouTube. Enjoy the show. Share it with your friends. We hope to see you back for more. So, recap, and then we'll dive in. The Antiheroes are going after the night hag Mother Midnight in her lair on Malbold, the 6th layer of the 9 Hells. To that end, they arrived in Avernus, the first circle of the 9 Hells, where they must perform 2 tasks. The first of those tasks was to deliver a celestial elephant named Lulu to a woman named Fëanor. Fëanor, after receiving Lulu, returned her upon just drawing a vial of her blood. And now Lulu is traveling with the party. The second task the group must attend to while in Avernus is to recover the sword of Asanahan, Thaddeus' patron deity, which was last seen in the Archduke of Avernus Zariel's possession. The party searched the crypt of the Shattered Gibbous for clues to its location, and they met a undead former paladin named Olanthius, who had a grim tale. Now they are headed to a person named Maggie's camp, following a very uncertain memory of Lulu's, hoping that it will lead them towards the sword, because other options were less palatable. So, that's where we're picking up tonight. I will put on some music. As far as setting goes, for the moment, the group of you are seated back in the side passenger seats of the Scavenger, the war machine that the Skull Lord friend that you made early on in your adventure captains. And you are barreling across the wastelands of Avernus. There are, just so you don't forget, there's just all manner of nightmarish landscape. Like you will pass giant rib cages jutting out of the ground, or mountains that are shaped like skulls, or just pits of lava miles wide, fields of toenails, things like that. It's just, it is hell. But if you guys have anything you want to talk about, I will put on some music.
Let's talk about the fields of toenails for a second.
Yeah, so right now you guys are driving through a field of toenails. That's the setting. I'm going to put on music.
It's a nightmare he had once. The Duchess was there.
I'm just going to be like,
It's also a nightmare you're going to have tonight.
please tell me we have enough fuel to get through this field.
It doesn't look like it. We're stuck here.
I'm going to roll insight on that.
No, you can tell without rolling insight
Okay.
that Carl doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Cecilia turns back and says, Oh, don't worry, we have plenty of fuel. Since you gave us a fully charged soul coin, we should be good to go for a little while longer. At least, I think we should be able to get to Fort Knucklebone without issue.
Great.
How long do you think it'll take?
Oh, another couple hours at best, but so
Great.
you've got time to
Cool.
talk amongst yourselves, I suppose.
You build some body.
Huh?
So you're gonna build some body.
Yeah, I'm gonna read my book.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably have like 3 hours of travel, I'd say, so you can just mark off 3 hours on that.
Alright, hey buddy.
So we're going there. We're gonna talk to the mechanics.
Yeah, the kenku. if
How
you
many hours?
can.
I'm sorry, for my book.
3.
Was it? No.
Oh,
Total?
24 total.
24?
That you need to achieve.
Sorry.
Oh, we were just talking about
The plan.
the plan.
The agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
I mean,
a pretty thin lead, I feel like.
I think most of these are.
When you say that, Lulu pipes up and says,
Hmm?
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
my
it's just the best that I remember. I just remember
We have to max out
at
friendship.
some point when I was wandering around here, I met these two birds, and I remember them not being horrible to me, that's something, especially here. And I don't remember what they said or what we did. I just remember I met them, and I don't know, I don't have many memories, so I guess it's the best that I have.
Okay.
Do you remember what Mad Maggie was like?
No, I don't think I can't remember ever hearing the name. But it was Simon, the Flame Skull, turns around and says, "Oh, I've heard she's she's kind of a big deal. I mean she kind of keeps all the rest of the warlords in check." And then Cecilia chirps in and says, "Oh, yes, that's true. In fact, I'm a little bit excited to meet her. You hear rumors wandering around the plain, but I've never seen her in person."
Aren't you three supposed to be some kind of warlord?
Carl is just like, "Yeah, hell yeah, we are." But Cecilia and Simon kind of give him a look, and Simon's just like, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say. And then Cecilia kind of finishes the thought and says, "To be perfectly frank, most of the warlords have a cadre of followers that serve them, so I don't think we necessarily qualify, but we've got a war machine, so we're on our way."
Were we gonna check to see if they left a soul coin behind the
Oh
commander?
yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that. Yeah, if we go back through that pass.
Trying to, let me pull up my map and see if you would go back through the pass.
Oh, that's right, because of the. What was her name?
Or what would?
Payment.
Yeah, what the detour would cost us to go check, I guess.
Yeah, it was I don't remember her name either.
Lieutenant.
Leggett.
Yeah, Leggett, that's it. Leggett something or other. Calazel.
Yeah.
That's the one. I think you would have to go back through the pass. My map isn't loading, of course, but I think you would have to go back through the pass. And when you do, it's just on the other side of the field of toenails.
Oh, of course it is.
The carnage that you left in your wake is all still there. There's just like bodies of demons everywhere. But the demon activity seems to have lessened. Like you don't encounter any demons or anything like that. And your message to Legate Calazel was just leave us a soul coin.
I think it was like we
to the pass, or
We
It
hinted,
was,
yeah.
right?
It's like if what we did is worth anything to you, leave us a soul coin.
Yeah, you were saying like we dealt with the demons in the canyon. There's just
Yeah.
a few left. You can clean them up easily.
Yeah.
Leave us a soul coin if you desire or something.
well,
I
it
feel
seems
like
like
it's-
Calazel did clean up the demons. Someone can roll an investigation check.
You look at me like I'm gonna do it. Can I
I
have
think we
help?
all got the same. Yeah,
We're all pretty bad at this.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
help you,
Yeah, you would have to go back. through
You're
the
not gonna
pass.
help me?
but they will.
Oh, yeah.
27.
I'm reading.
20 what?
27.
Okay.
That's your investigation score?
No, I have +8.
Well,
I rolled
the
19.
rest of us have like +2.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Um,
I don't have a +27. That's what you're asking. No.
I rolled a 0, but fortunately with like +27 bonus, it worked out okay.
Yeah, I still found it.
you don't find a soul coin.
I rolled 27.
Well, she didn't leave one.
Ben luck.
There's nothing to find here.
Yeah.
What you do find
Mhm.
is a
Sword of the Sun I have?
no, it's just sitting there.
it's
It's in a tire track.
You gotta
You
ask.
drove over it on the
You
way.
gotta ask. I found it. That is.
No, you find a 2-foot-long black feather that is just kind of
2 foot long.
2
yeah,
foot long black feather.
Yeah, it is. It's just
That's
kind of
like an
off to the
ostrich
side.
sized feather.
It's just kind of like off to the side of a pile of demon corpses.
And I find this and it's special? Or like.
It's just something that you find.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring it back and load it up the truck, I guess. Be like, well, no soul coin, but.
I can
Found
enchant that.
What, is it already enchanted?
I don't know. Is
I
it?
can do the wand.
No.
I don't know if I have any charges on the wand.
We did.
You
You
can
did
just
rest.
roll an Arcana check to see if you can figure out any properties of it or anything like that.
Just an Arcana check.
Yeah.
I forgot to roll if my thing recharged. It's not bad. That's a 20.
20.
No. Sorry. 21.
Oh, even better.
22.
Going so.
You
Silent.
realize it's probably not magical, but you identify where it's from. Because you remember seeing feathers like this on the wings of Legate Kalazel.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably a feather that belonged to her or a devil like her.
Huh.
She had these like big feathered black wings.
Yeah, this is like from her or something that looks like her anyway.
Hmm.
To
Okay.
get to quit.
Is it worth worth anything, or should we just
Yeah, keep it if you can.
sure load
Toss
up in
them
the
back
truck?
with anything else.
It's a nice souvenir.
Okay, I'll put it in the back of the pickup, and then we'll be on our way, I guess.
Okay. Another couple of hours go by, completing the 3 hours that you've been reading, and by that point, Cecilia turns around and says, "Well, look sharp, we're almost there." And she kind of points across the horizon, and you can see this mound of red rock that almost looks like a clawed hand clawing its way out of the earth around it. And it is surrounded on all sides by this barrier of scrap metal and other substances which you can't quite identify at this distance, but it's a very jagged, intimidating looking metal wall for the most part that surrounds this. I think I have some art of the hill. This is the fun part about using locations from the book. Show it to the camera first. There we go.
That is imposing.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool looking.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a
That's where the
hand
toenails came
Definitely
from.
what I was imagining. It's not quite the same thing.
Almost.
Yes, Cecilia points that out and says, "Make no mistake, that's Fort Knucklebone.
Staying true to its name,
A little on the nose, if you ask me," Carl says grumpily.
says the person who doesn't have a nose.
He feels
Damn, you're right.
Good laugh.
It
Thanks.
was really good.
What's in that coffee?
Jack Daniels.
We can make that happen.
Someone can make a perception check as you approach to get more info if you want.
Everyone looks at the ranger again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have help? Someone want to help me? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Aww.
No.
Wow.
He just passed.
Good news, you rolled a 33.
I got a 23.
Yeah,
Wait,
sure.
really?
That's if we use passive. Then
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I was joking because I rolled 2 3s.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Alright, sure, yeah, we can use passive, that's fine. The only other thing that you would see at this distance, even sort of using your scope, there's like a dust cloud in the way or something like that that is obscuring you from getting more information. But the thing you see is that there is a rampart on the wall, and there are several gatehouses that seem to have big doors that open up into the fort itself. And standing atop each of the ramparts are groups of small figures, and you can see, you can't really make them out at a distance, but they're clearly like harmony sized. They're small.
Do they seem like organized? Like they're...
Yeah, they seem to be like taking their patrolling very seriously. Like they're doing this like very militaristic like march.
Okay, alright.
So cute.
Like
kenku.
Oompa Loompas or?
Well, they're probably kenku, but I don't want to say for sure because we couldn't see very well. But considering we know that we're looking for...
Well, do we know what they are? Are they kenku?
You can't tell at this distance because...
I guess, can I just keep observing until we get close enough with the scope?
Sure. As the vehicle pulls up closer towards the fort, and you're within maybe 60 feet of it, you finally get a good view, unobscured by dust clouds. And you can see that they are tiny, almost like gnomish creatures with like big noses. But they're all carrying these like massive sickles over their shoulders that they're like marching with. And they're all wearing uniforms, like kind of like gray jumpsuits, like someone who worked in a junkyard might wear. But their uniforms are decorated with sashes that have like scraps of metal on them. And the final feature that they all share is they're wearing these like military berets that are all blood red. And they see you coming, and they kind of like snap to attention at the top of the gatehouse, and they're just all looking down at you, waiting for you to approach now.
I look up.
Each gatehouse has maybe 12 of them.
What's the protocol here, Cecilia?
I couldn't say. Like I said, I've only ever heard rumors of Maggie herself. I wouldn't know what to do to get an audience.
We don't really
Does
get
it
an
look like
audience
there's
with Maggie.
a gate or a main entrance?
Yeah, there's several gates. Each gate has like a patrol atop it. But you could walk up to one of the gates and
Yeah, let's
strike up a conversation.
let's go.
Okay,
Put on some of the old Hammerlock charm.
As you approach, they you can see that they're talking amongst each other, right? And when you get up close, one of them steps forward, and it looks like he's like standing on a box or something like that, because he's standing ahead above the other ones. And he looks down at the group of you, and he's got this like white mustache and beard under his big nose, and he looks down and he just kind of sees the group of you and says, "Now, who do we have here? We've got Shorty McPinkface with the overcompensating shadow. We've got Tiger Man. Look at that. We don't see that every day. We've got the Dread Pirate Purple Pantaloons. And look, Mr. Paladin in Hell. Very nice. What do you want? Who are you?
2 pieces of business. One, we need repairs.
And kind of like looks back at your machine. Okay, repairs, sure.
And 2, we're here to speak to a pair of
mechanics.
Chukka and Clunk.
He kind of looks up. You know, he's thinking, it doesn't ring a bell.
Can I roll insight on him?
Sure.
All right.
I love to hear that. They're silly names.
That's
Chukka
a
and Clunk.
20.
With a -1 to his roll, he rolled a 5. Yeah, he's clearly like messy with you.
Okay.
Like he's having to stifle a chuckle. Yeah, never heard of him.
You mean a chukka?
Nope.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I don't know who they are. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, okay, they're here. Sure. Mechanics. I guess that makes sense if you need repairs. So you got the password? What's the password? And one of the other creatures on the wall whispers something in that one's ear, and he just goes like, I know.
Is there actually a password?
There's definitely
There's
not
not
a
a
password.
All right.
You want to roll an insight check?
I do. That's a 19.
With a -1, you rolled a 5.
And I rolled a 7.
You can actually, both of you, well, I mean, Zant, you can basically read the lips of the one that whispers in his ears, and that one says, like, boss, we don't have a password. But Harmony, you can see, like, on the other one's face, like, once he gets the joke, he's, like, laughing. Like, he has to, like, step out of sight because he's doubled over laughing at the joke.
What's the most prominent feature?
That's the best.
The password is swashbuckler.
Swashbuckler.
What?
We know there's no password.
And he like looks completely shocked. How did you see through that? I guess Tiger Man's got a head. That's impressive.
2 actually. Points at Bianco.
Like he's seen the tiger for the first time. What?
Yeah.
They got like a telepathic bond? That's weird. That's weird, man. They're a bunch of weirdos. Alright, fine, you can come in. And he like shouts down to another one, and like there's a cranking sound and the big metal doors start opening up.
Sounds weird.
I don't like this place.
They make their own entertainment.
As you walk in, why didn't I have the comedy music on from that? Shit, that was a mistake.
Very dark comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all like
That's
so
two
prepared for
mysteries.
when somebody silly is in front of us. We're like,
It's like, I don't know how to react to this right now. Where's my fight?
As you sort of walk in with a little bit of trepidation, you can see these figures up on the wall, and there's like no rampart on this side, so you can actually get a full look at them. And you see that they're all wearing these ridiculously oversized iron boots. They're just huge. You make your way into the fort itself. And the area is sort of enclosed by the rampart, and it is just littered with trash and mechanical parts. And some of them are put into sort of like vaguely vehicle shaped objects, but it's all just junk pretty much. Mixed in between the junk piles, there's like small hovels and dwellings that creatures could live in, but they all look pretty empty. But what catches your eye is sort of in the middle of the yard, between the claw rock formation that is emerging out of the ground and the rampart, there is a pair of like dark feathered figures, which Harmony and Zant would recognize as kenku for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Lulu says, "Oh, that's them! I recognize them. That's Chukka and Clonk." I have that art of dragon as well, if you want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them is bigger than the other, and he's got kind of like the top part of his beak has been replaced or covered over by like an iron beak, and he's kind of like he's got a big like spear strapped to his back, and then the other one that's smaller has a big warhammer like hanging at the hip that has kind of like fiery infernal runes on it. That's the pair of them.
Okay. Cool.
Y'all, I'm so excited to get Ethan playing a kenku again.
Oh yeah. Orchestra.
Just check out the bookmark. Oh.
That was the best. So funny.
Yeah, and they see you coming, and the smaller of the two shouts out in a voice that is clearly not its own, "What a deal! Patience is a virtue! Can't keep the boss waiting!" And he just zooms towards the hand. And the other one, who was actually like in the middle of like wrenching apart onto a vehicle, just kind of like turns around and like looks very confused, but doesn't say anything. And then catches sight of the group of you, and its eyes just kind of go wide, and it just dashes under the vehicle.
I see.
Like to work on it or
To
like
hide.
to escape?
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Chukka? Clonk? Hello?
There's no response initially.
Did we bring our big car in?
Yeah, I think so, because you said you were here for repairs.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't sure if it was like a fortress with a door or if it's like a...
gate.
I think someone said that she services all the hell machines, right? So then
Yeah.
they would have big
Yeah.
gates.
Okay. Where's your what was it you were saying before? Your charm?
The Hammerlock Charm?
Yeah.
Ah,
The
yes.
Hammerlock charm? Like now's the time. Elbow,
Does
elbow.
Harmony have PTSD with the kenku?
No. No, it's just like I don't know. I've been reading all day. I'm a little fuzzy.
Yeah, Dice will call out to below. Well, excuse me, we've come quite a long way just to talk to you.
Maybe.
Would you mind coming out?
You can see it's like beady little eyes and the
They get all
metal
over.
beak under
That's
there.
true. You
It's just
say
kind
it
of
by
looking at
something.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And it inches forward a little bit, just looking at you. Roll a persuasion check.
Always.
Better than when it started.
That's true. 18.
18. Okay. Yeah, it crawls out
Pretty
sort
good.
of cautiously, and it eyes Lulu and it eyes the group of you, and it just says, "Let's watch for just a moment."
This is my friend Lulu. Do you remember her?
It kind of like looks, kind of examines Lulu, walks around, and says, "Keep dreaming, Squirt."
You met her once, I believe.
He kind of like looks around. He looks harder. He walks up and like tries to poke Lulu, and she recoils a bit, but then like sort of nervously says, "Oh, okay," and he kind of gives her a very close inspection, and then says, "That's uncanny."
Do we know what's the kenku's like
That's,
lifespan?
yeah, it was the same kind of race. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Pretty short. I mean, like they're average humanoid, I think.
So that means that these events did happen if it's in their lifespan,
Yeah.
only within the past, not 1,200 years,
Right.
at least 50
would have
or
had
something
to be
years.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, based on Lulu's account, it's possible that Lulu has been a lot of places over the past few
Yeah.
years.
She might have known until recently where the sword was.
Until
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have like just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you recall where the two of you met?
So of course, we wouldn't dream of it.
What does that even mean?
And where was this?
Kind of points out to the fields of Avernus and says, "Rinse and repeat."
Okay.
And he kind of like walks up to you and he's looking at Lulu now and he's standing next to you and he just says, "So this is our best shot then."
Unfortunately, yes.
And like all of these are in very different voices. Like some of them are the like militaristic little short men you saw on the walls. Some of them are this like more like older female voice. Yeah, it's a very mixed bag. Some of them are this more sort of posh sounding voice. But yeah, he just kind of is standing there, sort of in awkward silence after that, waiting for something to happen.
I'll ask him, is your friend going to come back soon?
It says, "As soon as possible."
Okay.
And eventually, after a few more moments of silence, the other one does come running back out. And when it does, another figure, or I should say two figures, are following. It's a tall creature wearing sort of a long and tattered, not quite a dress, not quite a robe, a shift, that's a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
I don't know what that is.
and it's covered in like mud and blood and other horrible substances you don't care to identify.
I don't want to know what that is now.
She could pass for a very old tiefling, perhaps, with purplish skin, but you all know better because you're seasoned adventurers at this point. This is clearly a night hag. but her eyes, one of them is sort of looking one way while the other is looking the other way, and they kind of move independently of each other.
Oh.
And she approaches with this pair of red-eyed ravens that just kind of sit on her shoulders and scrutinize the group of you. And when she gets up close, she looks at the group of you and says, and then her eyes finally fall on Lulu, and she says, "My goodness, where did you find this treasure?"
That is what we've been trying to ask Chukka or Clunk.
I gotta remember which one's which. Shoot. Boop, 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 boop. Clonk is the big one. So she says, "Oh, this one's Clonk. The magpies aren't very helpful. They only have such a limited vocabulary, you know." And she kind of gestures to the two of them and says, "Now run along. You go fix your machines. I'll talk to the nice friends. Would you follow me?" And she kind of like gestures back towards the claw that rises up out of the ground.
Insight check.
Sure. Roll insight check.
Yeah, also hard.
Would you be Maggie then?
Yes, of course, I'm Mad Maggie. But you can call me Margaret.
12.
Oh, I didn't notice anything.
With a 12, I mean, you know not to trust a night hag fully.
Mm-hmm.
That's like something that your culture has taught you implicitly. But at least for now, she doesn't seem to show any malice towards you.
Does she show any recognition?
No, only towards Lulu. There was like a distinct sparkle in her eyes when
She
they
saw
landed
Lulu.
on Lulu.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't like this.
I'm gonna stay out here and look for stuff and set Pinky loose and have him look for stuff.
Okay.
Just if there's anything interesting among the rubble.
She kind of, she's already like turned her back and started walking away.
Yeah, I'm following.
But
Me too.
Yes,
the kenku, when you say that, the one with the warhammer on its back, just kind of like gets all big up in your face and like ruffles its feathers so that it looks like bigger than it is, and it just says, I had one, there it is. Just says, "Fucking don't touch him." And kind of looks intimidating at you.
That might be something I want to buy or trade for. Man, chill.
And then it says, "Are these terms agreeable?"
Fine.
And then it kind of nods and says, "I vow."
Oh my god.
I think I have a parrot you might like.
I know. Okay, so when you say that, its eyes go kind of bright and it says, "I can offer you 10 dragons right now."
No way.
Oh, that's funny. I like you.
Oh my god.
He kind of just like gives you a nod and like goes back to what it was doing at that point. And then the other one like squawks something at it and it just says, "Well, that's a bit mean." And then they both go back to work.
Rude. Alright, come on, Pinky. Let's go for a walk.
Okay. So you are going off into the junkyard. Is anyone else going with Mara, or are the rest of you going to go talk to Maggie?
I'm gonna go talk to Maggie.
I'm talking to Maggie. I think Kay was coming with us too.
I'm going to Maggie too.
We'll come back tomorrow then.
So we'll come back tomorrow.
Come back tomorrow. Maggie leads you towards the claw that is reaching up out of the ground, and as you get close, you kind of see the indentations between the fingers of it are actually caves that go into the rock. And she leads you into one, which seems to maybe serve as her chambers. There's like cushions all over the floor. There's tables with and shelves covered in things, and the things seem to be very like hodgepodge and unassorted at first. Like it's kind of hard to tell what the theme is. There's like the head of a demon next to a little statue, next to a torn tapestry, and it's hard to tell what the common thread is.
I would like to just be on high alert, looking out for anything like could be suspicious, like
There is
trap
something,
or surveillance equipment or something.
There is something suspicious that you see as you walk in. I mean, maybe not suspicious, but there's another figure in the room, and it's just kind of like sitting, it's like leaning against the wall idly, kind of like looking around and making low groaning sounds, just like,
Oh god.
That's suspicious already. Then, there's no question.
It is a mishmashed assembly of devilish and demonic body parts, loosely stitched together into a massive humanoid form. It maybe is like nearly twice the size of Xant or Thaddeus, and certainly taller than Mad Maggie. And here I've got a picture for the group of you. There you go. There's
Hi.
Maggie. There's the creature that you see.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oof.
And I'll show the stream as well. There we go. As Maggie kind of sits down on one of the cushions and sees you eyeing the creature with suspicion, she says, "Oh, don't mind Mickey. He's a doll."
Charmed.
And he just kind of goes, And come in, sit down, have a candy. And she like passes you a bowl of like shiny wrappered things.
No thanks. You just ate.
Oh, I know you're probably suspicious meeting a hag in hell, of course. It's in the nature of your adventuring kind, I'm sure. But I assure you, there's nothing wrong with these candies.
If you knew our history with hags, then you would understand why we're going to refrain from that.
Or our future with hags, for that matter.
And that's an interesting thing to say. I'd like to hear more on that. But there is a more pressing matter at hand. And she kind of gestures towards Lulu and says, "Where on earth did you come in
I did too.
possession of a creature such as that?"
Well, she's not our possession, really.
From a team, isn't it?
Lulu like nods vigorously at that.
From a teammate.
She joined us
It's like from a teammate.
I see. Yes.
when Fëanor parted with her.
Oh, so you've met Fëanor. She's just a fantastic person. I've been lucky to work with her for several years. Oh, so you acquired her from Fëanor. Okay, well that's good to know. Do you happen to know if Fëanor is doing well? I haven't heard from her in some time.
She seemed healthy when we
She
met her.
doesn't talk much.
Oh, this is true. She's a taciturn type. Gentle soul, though. Gentle soul. And she reaches for one of the candies in the bowl, like pulls the wrapper. There's like slight crinkle of it, and a beetle falls out, and
Yep.
she just kind of pops it in her mouth.
Yep. Yep.
Starts chewing on it.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Nothing like a good beetle before lunch. It's like legs are stuck in her teeth.
Great.
Can we just get
Not
to the
in the
point?
room, so I can't say, wow, that really bugs me.
And yet, somehow,
Somehow we hear Mara's voice
thinking it,
in
yeah.
our ears.
I know what Mara would say right here.
It's Cannon!
so what did she say?
What did she say?
The last one.
Oh, she just was remarking about Fëanor. And then she kind of, after she finishes chewing on her beetle, resets the conversation and says, "So, you came here seeking information, repairs, what? The guards didn't have a chance to tell me before Clonk came running into my room.
Well, they don't really know
He's an
either.
excitable type.
We are on the trail of something, and Lulu here used to know where it was, but her memory is gone. She did remember once meeting Clunk and Chukka.
Oh, now this is interesting because I do recall it was a few years ago, maybe I don't remember precisely when, but some time back, I do recall them telling me they met someone out in the waste that they thought I would have taken interest in, and now I begin to understand why. So you're trying to unlock some memories within the creature. And Lulu says, I'm right here. You don't have to call me the creature. I'm sorry, darling. It's an old habit. And she kind of turns back to Thaddeus and says, well, what would you do if I were to tell you that I might be able to help?
I suppose I had asked what your price is, the same as any other creature who offered to help me here.
Well, depending on who this creature is, if she is who I suspect, then I think the services I render might be my own reward. And her eyes kind of, for a brief moment, come to the same direction and look at you. And then she posits a question and says, is this, in fact, the creature that once traveled with the Archduke Zariel? And Lulu perks up and says, oh, you know my best friend!
Yes, she is.
I feel like this hag's
It's
eyes...
very hard to play things close to the best with Lulu around.
It really is.
I feel like this hag's eyes and my bowstring's eyes are doing like the same thing. They're like having a party.
But they never look at each other.
No. Always busy.
That's correct.
Then yes, I think that helping you would do me some favors too. And she kind of gestures to the all the things on the shelves around the wall. You see, I'm a bit of a collector. I came here a long time ago, looking for something, and I found it. I was looking for tragedy. And there's no sweeter tragedy that I have ever encountered than that of the Archduke Zariel. And she points to the massive demon head that is on one of the shelves and just oozing ichor and says, that was severed from the body of a Baelor by Zariel herself, and I was lucky enough to harvest and preserve it. And then she points to...
Before or after?
Oh, after. I didn't arrive here until after Zariel was already in charge, but the tragedy remains. And then she points to other different things. Like there's a statue, and she says, now that's a statue of Zariel that was crafted by Bel himself after he fell from power, and she took it. I think she forced him to make it, in fact.
I want to examine that statue.
If you go over to it and look at it, it's well crafted. But the feature, the angelic features are definitely emphasized. It almost looks like it would be before whatever fiendish transformation she has taken on.
Does it look kind of like the big relief that we saw in the crypt?
Yeah, very similar. Okay. And then she just kind of keeps pointing out the different Zariel memorabilia that she has acquired in her time over.
So she's just a Zariel fangirl, basically. Okay. So she doesn't care about other tragedies. She just wants Zariel's wake of history and things.
And now you see why this is beneficial to me. Because if I help you delve into the memories of this creature, well then, I can witness them myself as well.
Interesting.
I can see it firsthand. I can taste it.
Will any harm come to Lulu?
She kind of thinks for a second. Well, I don't think so. Assuming things go well.
Can I insight
But
check
a group
that?
of you can help with that.
Can I insight check
Sure,
that?
sure.
Alright. That is a
Pretty good.
24.
24? I don't think she can beat you, even with the roll I rolled. So, she is getting very excited about the prospect, but you don't detect any lies at this point.
Okay, so she truly believes that we can help reduce the amount of harm or make so we mitigate it fully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just kind of nod in agreement and let her continue.
I'll ask Lulu. What is this? Would this be alright? Would this be alright with you?
Her eyes get a little wide, and she says, "You're actually asking if it's all right with me? You're asking for my permission?
It's important. It's you we're talking
No
about.
one asked my permission for anything for so many years.
Oh no. I feel like she's going to burst into song.
Splashed water from the sticks on my face, or other horrible things. That's so nice." And she kind of like screws up her resolve and
Friendship
says,
level
yes,
increase.
it's fine.
Okay.
We can do this. I trust you.
All right.
Okay.
Either of you object?
I do everything. I object to this whole conversation. I object to being in this room right now.
Oh.
But do we have any other options?
Noted.
I'm willing to hear her out, at least.
All right.
Well, is there anything that Maggie can do to make you feel better?
It's our history with night hags is mostly her history with night hags.
Oh, I see. And that is something I would like to hear about later, if you don't mind. she just smiles at you.
Eats another beetle.
Yep.
Harmony's tail is doing that thing that cats do right when they're about to
Like
pounce.
flicking.
Yeah, it's very much flicking.
Well, if there's any other information we need, maybe we can trade you Harmony's information for it. But for now, let's stick to the original request.
Oh, okay. You see, hags, well, we all keep in touch, you know.
That's what I was afraid of.
I figure maybe I can, I don't know, help you out. Maybe you can help me out, perhaps.
I think that's what we're doing right now.
Yes, of course. Of course. I don't know. It's just, I always wonder who knows who I know, you know. It's interesting to find the connections. And her eyes are just kind of lazily. Meanwhile, Mickey in the corner is like swatting at a bug. What's Mara doing? We'll pause that for a second.
Walking around, I stub my toe on metal because I'm not paying attention because I'm walking around.
Looking around the fort, you see a number of different creatures of varying types. You see the two kenku are at work on a vehicle, a war machine of sorts, and they seem to be like having an argument, like they're trying to fix something and it's not working and they're fighting about it. You also spot the birds that were on Mad Maggie's shoulders. When she went back into the cave, they flew up into a tree, like a withered tree nearby, and they're just kind of watching you. Their little red eyes are following you. You also spot, just kind of like peeking out at you now and again from behind a pile of junk, there is a skull that seems to have like green fire around it. And it's just kind of watching you. And then when it sees you looking, it ducks back behind the junk pile. And then obviously there are the red hatted figures that were up on the walls, but there's more of them down here. And they seem to be having some kind of like violent sporting event, the ones that are in the yard.
Okay, I'll go look at that.
Yeah. It's hard to figure out what the objective is. There's a ball that's involved, but they're not always using it. Sometimes they're just like punching each other and wrestling and like hitting each other with their sickles or like stomping each other with their iron boots. There's like no rules to this game.
Great. I ask if I can join.
You know, what? You wanna join?
Why not? I need some exercise.
All right. Well, let me look at your boots.
Which ones am I wearing? Actually, I'm wearing the slippers, the ballerina slippers.
Okay, they kind of look down and say, "Nope, can't participate with boots like that. You gotta have real boots."
Anybody got a pair I could borrow?
They look horrified at that, like absolutely horrified.
Okay.
How could you ask that? Why would? And they all just like kind of shake their heads.
Well, they look pretty cool. You don't have a spare one around?
Spares! How dare you!
Fine.
They're like brandishing their
Wow.
sickles at you.
Okay, fine.
Mara
I
making
won't.
friends.
Keep digging that hole.
I know, man.
And come back when you got some boots.
Okay.
Dread pirate purple pantaloons.
All right, so I go around and I gather up metal parts
Okay.
and I just try to fashion boots.
Yeah.
Roll a.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've got wood crafting tools, right? But not any sort of metalwork tools.
No.
Present.
Well, you're talking to Maggie.
Yeah, you know where I am.
Are you close enough to message? Can I message him to come out?
I don't know, are we?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, will you make me a pair of iron boots like theirs?
I get this message, and I'm just like,
Quick, come on, quick.
alright, hey guys, I gotta duck out for a sec.
Okay.
And so I'll leave and find Mara, and then be like, what?
I want to play this game. That looks really fun.
Look at the game. What is it?
They're taking turns. They've like formed a line, and there is a pile of skulls they've piled up at the end of the line, and they're taking turns kicking the skulls as far as they can.
Oh yeah, you could definitely beat them.
Okay, so you can help me?
Sure.
Look at all this stuff.
Only because
around.
it's you.
Thank you.
Alright, roll a Tinker Tools check.
Sure. Oh, I have Smith tools.
What?
I have
Oh
Smith
yeah, that'll
tools
do too.
Okay. Here we go.
With Smiths, I think you use
Crap.
Strength probably.
Well, that's not good. It's just strength plus proficiency.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not too bad then. That's 6 plus 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 12, that's 15.
Okay. You rolled 3.
I did roll 3.
You make a passable set of iron boots. Sure.
So I'll be like,
Alright.
will these
They're a
work?
bit big
Yeah,
for Mara,
thank you.
but
That's
Alright,
fine.
Here.
That seems to be a trend around.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put them on over my slippers.
Break a leg. Theirs, not yours. I'll like
Alright.
watch for a little bit,
So
and then I'll go back in.
I stomp back in and I say, "Can I play now?"
he looks at your boots. He's like, "Nice boots." Now you're talking. But wait, and he kind of looks you all the way up because he was kind of looking down because he's shorter than you. But now he looks all the way up and he says, "But wait, you don't have a hat." And he like points. They've all got these red berets. You can't play without a hat.
Oh man.
I
Anything in the bag of holding?
have a floppy hat.
Is
And
that
I
the
have...
one that makes you?
No. That's a tiara, I thought, right?
Well, didn't I?
You gave me a tiara of disguise self.
I gave you a floppy hat of disguise self, or a fancy
This one
hat.
says tiara, disguise self, 1 use. Armenian.
I remember it as being a tiara. I don't know what the floppy hat
Floppy
is.
hat is a hag's floppy hat.
Oh.
It's one that we got from.
I got a
Knights.
fancy hat that was disguise self, and the tiara was going to be disguise self, but it doesn't work that way.
So I have.
The tiara made you like smile.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that weird
So
weird smile.
the
Yeah.
headwear that I have is. Let's see. Noble's clothes. So if that comes with a hat of some style.
You just might have to steal one from someone. Or...
Floppy hat. Cranston crown.
What?
We still have that.
The floppy hat would do if it were the right color. I don't know if it's the right color.
I don't know what color it is.
They didn't say anything about a color.
They didn't.
Well, they said you gotta have the right hat.
They just said you had to have a hat.
Right. You want to try with the floppy hat?
Okay, I'm trying to think if there's any way I can make it red real quick.
Zant, with your passive perception, as Mara kind of is asking, like, is there anything we could do to make it red?
Got any
You look
would
around,
good berries diet?
Oh, that's a good thought.
One of these creatures has a really bad nosebleed right now. He's been kicked in the face.
Oh no.
And all of the other ones are crowded around that one, taking turns washing their hats in the blood from the nosebleed.
Ew.
And as they do, it just like takes on more red color, and then they put them back on their heads.
Give you the hat. Point at the guy.
Okay, Mara does it.
Okay.
Right on my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You really want to play this game?
This happens.
You know, you really want to play this game.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Okay, noted.
Thaddeus isn't here for this shenanigans, so you get no bonus.
Oh man, I can't believe that.
Well, you got exactly what it started at.
But it turned into a 3, so maybe it's fine.
Yeah, 3?
Yeah,
Pass?
because it's
Okay. I've noted what you rolled. When you walk up and you've got the hat on your head, you've got the boots on your feet, This creature
Smile on my
kinda
face.
finally looks you up and down and says, "Now you're talking. Come on in."
Yay!
And they're now taking. This is what the game has become. They are running around in circles around the one that has the nosebleed and taking turns punching that one in the face.
I'm gonna go kick a few skulls. See
We're
if
not-
I can get him
we're
back
not,
to
we're
doing
not playing
that.
skull kick now. We're doing punch face.
Okay, well I'll wait till the next round.
Roll a persuasion check.
Not that one.
Or an intimidate. If
What?
that's better.
Intimidate is +3. The persuasion is +9. So
Oh, okay.
we'll go with that. So 14.
14? Okay. He looks you up and down and says, "But you're one of us now. You don't want to play?"
Let me watch for a bit, then I'll join in.
Alright, fine. And he goes back to playing run around and punch face. Let's go back to the head.
So I think I'm gonna I would watch for a few moments, be like, well, all right, and then I'll walk back in and join
I mean,
the others.
you see all the same creatures around the yard that Mara saw as well.
Okay.
You would see the kenku in their argument as they're trying to fix a vehicle. You would see the flaming skull that is popping up from behind the bushes.
Would I know how to fix what they're trying to fix?
Possibly.
Okay. Maybe I stop and look at it, and I'm like, huh.
Want to
Get
take a look?
distracted. Yeah, I do. But we can switch back to.
No, we can do you for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
You walk up, and they're arguing back and forth about this machine, and they're pointing at it. And now that you're up close to it, you can see that its engine is kind of smoking this horrible, acrid black smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kind of squawking at each other. They're not using words at this point in time.
Oh, they're not I'll give you 10 dragons for it. And
No.
dang it. That's what I wanted. Okay. Well, I'll talk to them because I want that.
Okay. What do you say?
I say, I'll take a look at that engine for you.
That was one I wanted to use. I can't find it. He says something to the effect of, "I think I have a problem you can help me with."
And I say, I'll give you 10 dragons right now.
So you shall.
And so yeah, I'll go behind the bench with them and take a look.
Yeah, and he kind of.
Is it Chukka or Clonk that I'm talking to?
It is Chukka.
Okay.
Chukka seems to be the one that is more up for talking. When you approach, Clonk kind of retreated a little bit.
The bigger one?
Yeah, the bigger one.
Okay.
Was he the one who ran off to the caves?
No.
No.
He was the one that dove under
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, as you sort of start taking a look, that one's kind of leaning over your shoulder and just says, where was it? What do you think, oh great leader?
I remember that. I'll kind of give him a look and I'll look back at it. And what do you want me to? How do you want me to check this? I have.
Do you want to make me
Yes.
an Arcana or Investigation check?
I'd rather do investigation.
It's gonna take you some time to poke around. So it should be 10 minutes.
It's the chocolate. It's affecting it.
Are we using passive investigation?
Put one in here too.
No.
No.
Okay. Then that's a 9.
A 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you poke around for about 10 minutes or so, and you're not really finding anything. It's hard to figure out how these things work. You haven't spent enough time around them to quite figure it out. The kenku just sort of, after you've sort of finished looking at it and are scratching your head, he just says, "Keep dreaming, Squirt."
Well, if it's okay, I'll spend a little bit more time and look. But
he kind of nods and says, "Rinse and repeat."
sure.
You can try again if you want.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be another sort of 10 minutes. Of looking at it.
Okay, that's better. That is a 24.
24, okay. You discover, after sort of poking around in this thing, there is like there's one part like deep in the machine that does not belong. It's like a spiky gear, and it just is completely like blocking up the mechanism in there,
Okay.
and preventing the engine from working. And you can just rip that out.
I'll just dislodge this piece. Then.
And as you do, the engine, which was smoking that black acrid smoke, just kind of like purrs to a roar.
So I'll just like hold it up from under the vehicle. And be like,
the one that was watching you starts clapping and says, he says, he's a handsome fellow, more than you'd think from the name. And then he just says, have a nice drink on us.
I don't know, where are you learning these things?
It's funny.
It must have been water deep. Okay. So yeah, I think with that all, I would like to sit with them for at least, I mean, maybe another 10-something minutes or so, and kind of maybe inquire about like this place and like if they deal with like Zariel a lot and stuff like that. Just sort of ask sort of probing questions and try and get some more information.
When you ask whether they deal with Zariel,
Or like his, or like or her, like, you know, war machines and, you know, whatever.
they kind of shake their heads and say, no relation, I assure you. But then points over towards the cave that Mad Maggie is in,
Yeah.
and then says,
I like to imagine that because they're kenku, all these clicking sounds Ethan's making is also part of their speech.
I also like to imagine that. Now that you
so
pointed
yeah,
out.
he points over to the cave that Mad Maggie is in and says, if I have to.
I see. Okay. And then I guess the last thing I'd say is, but you'll help us fix our war machine, right?
He kind of looks at the machine you helped fix, looks back at you and says, I'll take that as a yes.
All right. And I'll give him a nod and say thanks, and then I guess I'll head back in to talk with Mad Maggie and the rest.
As you're leaving, yeah, he just kind of is standing there waving. They're both kind of standing there waving at you. And
oh.
he just says, get out there. Don't worry. We're not going to hurt you.
Okay. Wave back. And yeah,
They
we'll
go back to the... They actually, after that, they move over to your machine. And they start interacting with the skulls and like trying to figure out what's wrong with that machine. And they're like assessing it. But that's the last you see of them before you go back into the cave.
Okay.
Let's go back to the cave.
I like this place. I like Punch Face. And
Ah, yes.
skull
Punch
kicking.
face.
Run around punch face.
You did that one too. Didn't even realize that one.
Not 20 on my stealth roll.
Yeah, that one was good. Okay.
So we have an agreement. The creature will allow us to probe its memories, and you will help me in the ritual to make sure things go well.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, when I've proved that I can help you, then we can talk about these other hacks, you know.
Possibly.
Very good. Would you help me get some things ready?
What do you need?
And she gestures to the cushions all around the room and says, pile those in the center of the room. And then looks at Harmony and says, you look like someone who could start a fire.
What was your first clue?
The horns.
We'll
Nice
start
and cool.
It was
tossing some cushions then to
rhetorical
a pile.
question.
In the center of the cushions, there's create a bonfire just there. And there's some incense up on the shelves if you wouldn't mind tossing that in and burning it.
I just, without looking, used telekinesis to bring it down.
Very good. And she starts bustling about the rest of the cave, looking for something. Oh, where did I put them?
Can I inspect the incense?
Sure.
See what it is?
Yeah. Roll, I guess, nature check.
Okay. 8.
Okay.
How are we so bad at rolling today?
I'm always bad at rolling. I don't know. You
It's
guys
I'm out of ones.
unclear. A bunch of different substances that have all been dried and dehydrated into this condition.
Does it smell poisonous?
Not terribly, no. It's actually probably one of the more pleasant smells you've smelled since you came to Hell.
That's fair.
It doesn't smell like fire and brimstone, so that's a start.
So she doesn't want me to light the cushions on fire, but she wants me to light a
A
fire
fire in the center of this ring of cushions.
of a ring of cushions. Okay. I'll do it.
And then, let's see. While I'm looking for the final touch, there is, it would be good if we had, some sort of cradle or some such thing for the creature to sleep in.
Cradle?
Yes, I don't know. Perhaps you could fashion one.
I can, but I'm not there.
You're playing
Well-
with big boots and a floppy hat.
Yeah.
I could also use
Let me see. And we have like a
fabricate or creation to
we
do
have
it.
bedrolls too. You just fold or what else do we got? Let's see.
Yeah, I think the bedroll is the best thing that we have on hand.
That would probably do the trick.
Am I there yet? Or am I still hanging out outside?
You would still be out at this point.
Alright, I guess
But
if you
you
guys
and I
message
have
me.
bedrolls.
Okay.
You don't have all of them in your bag of holding. We've gone around too.
That's
I
fine.
got explorer's pack.
You lay out the bedrolls. The cushions are all set. The fire is going. The incense is on the fire. And she just says, "Now I just need to find the last 2 little bits. They're somewhere in this room, buried amidst my junk. I'll find them. You go outside. It'll just be a minute. You can take the elephant with you if that's
Okay. Yeah, I'll take Lulu with me for sure.
So Maggie kind of turns the group of you loose while she looks for the final ingredients that she needs. And you come out of the fortress to see Zant is inspecting one of the vehicles with the pair of kenku. And Mara has donned a red cap and big iron boots. And I don't know, what game do you think everyone's playing now?
Oh, let's do something with the. Let's see.
How do
Something.
you feel about tug of war?
Yeah,
Okay.
with rope. That's good. Mara's good with rope.
It's not with the rope.
Oh.
They're all gathered around one of the little men. One group has his arms, one group has his legs, and they are pulling. Which side are you?
You wanted to play this.
I'm at the end of one of the group and tickling them.
Okay. Make just a dexterity check.
You should plus your dex.
I'm gonna roll a wisdom saving throw against whatever you
That
roll.
is +5.
Oh
20.
Okay. Yeah.
Dirty.
You tickle one of these little tiny bearded men, and he's just like, "No, you've got to stop it!" And he lets go of
my
the feet. He
intention.
was on the feet, and the creature that was being pulled just goes flying with the other team, and the big metal boots just clonk into all of them with a resounding clang. And the one that you're tickling just kind of like falls to the ground. It's like, "Stop it! Stop it!" And he's just like, as he's like flailing around, he goes for his sickle and just starts waving it.
Do the rest of them all? Are they now playing the tickle game?
Yeah,
Oh
I mean,
my
I should say
God.
so.
This
They're
is
in like a
incredible.
football pile, tickling each other now. But like they're all reacting so violently to being tickled that like there's like, sickles being waved. There are boots being stomped. It is violent and bloody.
Okay. I'll be done. I say, I win. I walk off and I go back and join the group.
As you walk away and do that, they all just kind of are looking at each other and they're like, "Can she do that? Can she do that?" And then one of them kind of like is in the middle. He's just like thinking hard. And everyone is kind of looking at that one and waiting for a decision. And he says, She's the tallest. She can do it. That's it, boys. Get ready for a shift. And they just like go off into their hovels to get ready for their shift on the walls.
She's the tallest.
Yes!
Wow.
Well done.
And you didn't pick anyone's pockets while you were in that
Nope,
heap of
I
tickling.
didn't.
So proud of
I
you.
did
That's
not.
character growth right there.
I thought about it, but I didn't.
So anything anyone else wants to do?
How long until I'm done fixing the thing?
About then, I'd say.
Okay. So red caps, or the little men clap for Mara, and then the kenku clap for me, and then, you know, we're good.
Harmony, Thaddeus, and Lulu come out of the cave.
I immediately dig through my bag for my sage and light it, and I start hitting Thaddeus with it.
Ah, what?
Just be quiet. I'm like going all around. I do Lulu, and then I do me. And then as you come, I start hitting you with it.
Hurry, what's wrong? Why?
Lulu like wrinkles her trunk at it. Ew, it smells gross.
Just be quiet.
Okay, fine.
What happened? I don't understand.
It's for protection.
I see.
Maggie's preparing a ritual in there.
Oh, okay.
Harmony, can you clean this hat back off?
What did you do?
I had a lot of fun.
Looks like somebody did. Prestidigitation.
Okay, and can you put the boots in the bag?
I hit Mara
Oh,
with
the
my
boots in
sage
there,
too.
I want to actually
What?
bronze
Okay.
them or something.
Uh,
I'm gonna try some and bronze them and put
okay,
them up on
Ethan-
a shelf at my ship.
Be cool.
Ethan, Mara wants Zan to put the boots away. What do I call the boots?
Just makeshift iron boots.
Okay, I can do that.
I'm hitting Mara with the sage too.
Is my hair dirty?
It's just like
No, I mean, is my hair bloody? You could do my hair too.
okay, one thing at a time.
Okay.
Make it fancy. Then I stomp the sage out and put it back in
Mara.
the bag.
Well, yeah. Actually, Melissa, do you want to roll me a D100, by the way?
Do I have one out? Anybody got one?
It's 2d10s actually.
Now that you're regrouping
One.
with everyone else.
Roll
There's
roll
that
one
one
of
too.
these.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, roll these demonic ones.
Is it 17?
17? Oh my. Okay. As
What was in that blood?
I don't think it was the blood.
as Mara.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh.
As Mara regroups with the rest of you, every time Mara blinks, you notice that it seems like the area around her gets darker. And if it were a darker area, what you realize is if you were in a darker area, Mara's eyes would be shedding light.
Huh.
They have this like gleam to them that is actually emitting light.
What? How much light?
Like,
We're
does this become
fabulous.
obvious as we go back into the cave?
Like even before you get into the cave, you notice that like the shadows around you get brighter and then dimmer, you know, and then you eventually realize it's because every time Mara blinks, the light that her eyes are now shedding is diminished.
So when her eyes are open, it's brighter?
You're like,
Oh. Weird.
Oh.
what's everybody looking at me like that for?
You won something.
That could be useful
Or not?
or not, or dangerous.
Or I don't know. Okay. Yeah, Mara,
Dad,
close
what's
one eye
going
and take a look. See?
The thing is,
Start
Mara,
doing
you can never perceive it at this point because right now you can only see it when you blink. But as the group of you go back into the cave after waiting a little while, and I think Maggie would send Mickey out to fetch you. He just kind of comes out and goes, as you go into the cave, Mara, you see that your eyes now shed dim light in a 15-foot area in front of you.
Is this
So
what
not
dark vision
only-
is?
Not only do I have blind sense, I have blinkers.
Yeah,
You have headlights.
You have headlights.
Yeah, headlights.
Literally.
Write that down.
They're in her head. Do we know
Swashbuckler
what
with
caused
headlights.
it?
I have no idea.
I think I
didn't
know
see it.
what caused it.
Come on, someone tell me I'm the light of their life.
Lulu will tell you.
Everyone looks at Zant.
Yeah.
Well, you're a light of my life,
Oh.
See?
but I don't really remember many of my acquaintances, so it's not saying much. Maybe this ritual will help?
Okay.
You guys, I just have to ask before we go in and actually do this. Is it just me who thinks this old woman's a little shifty?
It's not just you.
She's very
Oh,
shifty.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I was a little worried that I was being racist.
That has to be part of the
sometimes
title.
I see creatures here, and I just think there's no way that creature's up to any good, and usually they aren't. But you know, I don't want that to be my default state.
Right. Understandable, but she's a warlord in hell, so I think she's up to something.
Probably.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I can trust my senses in that extent then.
Shall we get this over with?
Yes, for
Sure.
You follow Mickey in, and Maggie has completely darkened the room except for candles and the bonfire in the middle, which
And
is
Mara's
now
headlights.
and Mara's headlights. Yeah. Which is now the chamber's all like smoked up with incense at this point, so it's very disorienting as you walk in,
Turning right.
especially since Mara's making it like a disco here.
Yeah. Doing this.
She's pulled a table over by the fire and laid out the bedrolls on it.
Oh my god.
And she kind of gestures for Lulu to go nestle down there. And then she gestures to the ring of black cushions around the room for each of you to take seats.
Okay.
And then she pulls out from her pockets the things that she was looking for, and she sets them on the table at the head and the foot on either side of Lulu, looking in at her. And there are two skulls. And as she does, she just whispers, "I don't think my sisters will mind lending us their keen minds for this ritual." And she kind of takes a seat on a cushion.
Yeah, I'll sit on the cushion.
Okay.
This is all fine and great.
I'm
says-
sitting, but I'm watching her extremely carefully.
She kind of
A floor show in hell.
She doesn't seem to like mind that way that you're looking at her at all. So she just goes on and says, "Now, this ritual that I'm about to perform is, well, potentially dangerous to the rest of you. Should we do everything right, not dangerous at all to the creature. We are going to enter her subconscious and extract the memories buried deep within. We may see some things that are delightfully miserable, and I just ask that you bear with me through them, because that is how we will dig to the heart of this elephant's memories."
Noted.
Alright? And the rest of you just need to close your eyes as the incense puts the elephant to sleep. And you look over and Lulu's eyes are like drooping.
Do you want to leave one of us awake?
I'm like,
I think it could be dangerous.
To leave to not?
To not, yeah.
Okay, who wants to be awake?
No. I think it'd be dangerous for one of us to not participate in the ritual. I think we
we all have to
Yeah,
participate.
remember-
or it could go wrong.
remember the remember Manus's trial?
Mm-hmm.
What if one of us hadn't been in there?
Okay. I also remember the Dream Council when we got
When we woke
Kidnapped.
up and Gwen was there.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Well,
so. Okay, but yeah, if that's what you want to
Well,
try.
why don't you leave Byakko to stand guard?
Okay.
that seems good.
Good
Okay, let's
idea.
do that.
Okay. What do you tell Byakko to do if something happens?
Wake me up.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, defend
Byakko
us.
sits down at the entrance of the cave, like right across from Mickey. Just kind of like looks at Mickey. Mickey just looks at Byakko.
And I'll say to Moloch, why don't you stay with Byakko?
Alright. roger that, boss.
Let us
And
know.
gives a little salute. Hops over and sits on Byako's back, and Byako like tenses.
Yeah. I don't think Byako likes that, but
But
all
yeah,
right.
the two of them sit over there, and the rest of you close your eyes and begin to focus on the ritual.
okay.
After a few
I forgot something right now. I can't remember what it was.
after a few moments of
We had 3 hours.
I
darkness,
know.
this rich, radiant light begins to fill each of your visions.
Is that Mara's eyes?
It is Mara's.
Mara, you're
it's,
supposed to have your
You have to
eyes
close your
closed.
eyes, Mara.
it's nebulous and unclear, but then it begins to come into focus, and you see that the light is being emitted by hundreds of dancing rainbows that sort of slowly then dissolve into warm sunlight, and you find yourselves in a lush meadow, and Lulu is there, sort of hovering at the shoulder of a beautiful blindfolded angel with massive, like white feathery wings sprouting off of her back. And the pair are just strolling through the tall green grass. And they seem to be chattering sort of happily. And Lulu's kind of like buzzing around from tree to tree, like smelling flowers, but all the while like looking back at the angel, sort of like a dog would do as it's like looking back at you on a walk.
So cute.
Do we want to interrupt this?
You hear, you can look around and you sort of see each other within the meadow. You're sort of like spectral. And you see, you don't see Maggie, but when you sort of ask the group, do we want to interrupt this, you hear a voice in each of your minds, and it's clearly Maggie's, and it says, push through this vision. It only represents what Lulu wishes was true. We need see no more of this.
How do we push through this vision?
Concentrate.
Alright, yeah. Try
Okay,
and concentrate.
So,
Each of you make an intelligence saving throw.
Do we get Patty's bonus?
I'm conscious.
Yeah, I'd say yes.
okay.
Which is plus.
+5.
Thank God.
It's a what check? I'm sorry.
Saving
oh
throw.
my God, this is
Intelligence.
the
Intelligence,
victory
okay.
level.
Oh shit.
The smartest person got it. Oh, you have plus 0 now.
13.
13. Harmony?
10.
10.
24.
24. Okay, that's half of you.
Oh my God.
The meadow fades back into darkness. And you, as it does, you kind of hear, just sort of
My recent
as
rolls.
if off in the distance,
This.
Lulu's voice going, no,
This-
Zariel! But then it dwindles into quietness.
Big prison.
As light again begins to fill your vision, this time it is crackling flames. And then your vision pulls back and you can see more of your surroundings, and you find yourself sort of hovering above a flame-encircled battlefield atop a barren iceberg. So there's this iceberg and there's like a ring of fire that is surrounding this battlefield that is just like hundreds of devils and humans and elves and other creatures are just littering the iceberg. In the center of it, an angel, the angel from the previous vision, clutches a wound at her chest and kneels at the center of the circle, speaking to Lulu and 3 other figures who surround her. 2 of the figures are, they look like 2 men, maybe an elf and a human.
Does one look like Olympias?
Well, we didn't get a great look at Atlantis. He was like covered in armor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
This figure also is well armored, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
The other figure who is with the angel is yet another angel. This one, she looks to be sort of like a powerful, radiant woman, and she has this expression of grim determination as she's listening to the blindfolded angel speak. You can't hear what they're saying, but the kneeling angel The one with the blindfold.
Can I read their lips?
Roll a...
I have observant.
Oh, you do? Yeah. You can, in fact.
Yes.
The question is, do you speak Celestial?
No. Dang it.
So you can recognize at least that they're speaking Celestial because you've heard Thaddeus and Lulu speak that.
Sure.
But you can't make out what they're saying.
Okay.
Uh,
Can I try and whisper it and copy what they're saying so maybe Thaddeus can pick up on what they're...
Sure.
Okay.
Roll a... I don't know, what would you think this would be?
And see if we just not while speaking.
Perception, I would guess.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess do a perception disadvantage then.
Sure.
I would say
And
to
passive perception wouldn't
translate
apply.
what
Oh.
you see into sound.
No, yeah,
Disadvantage?
that could be it too.
A mimication.
Mimicry? Wait, so what am I rolling?
Perception at disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh.
Alright, that's a 14.
14. Okay. You get parts of, you can relay parts of it to Thaddeus.
Okay.
Thaddeus, the parts that Zant can relay to you, they translate to something like, it's Zariel saying, our efforts are futile. We can't progress any further. And then some you don't get, and then she says, you need to save yourselves. Get out of here. And then the other ones, the other figures are all protesting that. And then you lose a little bit of the conversation.
But this is all kind of stuff from new. This is
I was looking...
Bell and Hanuman
Yeah.
and Atlanteus.
I was looking for take the sword to such and such or something
Well, she doesn't
more
know.
telling.
She gave it to Lulu and said, take this far away from here or
Right,
something.
and that's the next thing you witness is the Zariel barks some order to Lulu and the other angel, and gives the other angel the sword, and then points away, but you can't make out what they,
Yeah.
the specifics of that.
The other thing
direction.
I was looking for to see if this story matches what we've heard.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So I wanted some, whatever I'm trying to say here.
Corroboration.
Yes. So,
Taking the sword, the other angel, with the sort of look of grim determination on her face, flies away, and Lulu hesitates a moment, but then flies after. And as she actually flies past the group of you as you hover in the air above this scene, and you can see that there are just tears streaming down her eyes as she goes. The wounded angel then collapses on the ground, and you can see the two mortal warriors kind of look each other in the eyes, clasp hands, share a look, and they say something in common this time. Or actually, it'd be Elvish. Do you speak Elvish?
no.
No. Okay. Well, again, then you can make
I don't know if any of us speak Elvish, actually.
Thaddeus does speak
does.
Elvish.
Okay, so
Alright.
same sort of
With
thing.
your check, I'd say that you'd make out this part. The elven one says, so we defend her to the last, and then the human one looks him in the eyes, clasps his hand and says, of course, my brother, this is the only way it could have ended for us. And they sort of then release each other's hands with a meaningful look at each other, and then turn to face the hordes of devils that are charging through the flames towards them across the iceberg. At that same moment, a large crimson-skinned devil with a wicked mace and a pair of leathery wings lifts up out of the army and begins to chase after Lulu and the other angel. And it's followed by two statuesque warrior devils with black feathery wings. And they both dart off across the sky straight towards now the group of you, where you stand in between them and Lulu and the other angel. And you hear Maggie's voice in your head say, "The devils! You must defeat those devils, or Lulu's subconscious can't move on to the rest of the dream journey. Now! Don't let them catch her!" And it's very urgent. and let's roll initiative.
Oh,
boy.
great. Okay.
I have a feeling
Maybe that's a good place to call it.
it's going to be a really short episode if we call it, though.
We can at least get through like one round or something. It doesn't. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you guys want to call it?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like the combat could go on for a while.
We can get through one round if you want.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one round.
This is the best initiative Thaddeus has ever rolled.
It's also the best initiative that it can ever
Yes.
roll.
Yes.
This is actually a pretty good initiative for Harmony too.
It will never get better than this. And Mara will be connected.
Oh.
Hopefully you go first. Yes, you definitely will go first.
I didn't know you had to roll for initiative.
It's one of the few things she has to roll for.
Do you have any bonuses to?
No.
No.
Harmony, can you even see to roll?
Ooh, I beat you.
I think we're all tied then.
Nope, I beat you too.
No, I mean her and me and
Oh, I see.
Thaddeus are all tied.
What's your guys' dex score? How do we want to do this if you're all the same? So, I know Mara's. I was talking to you guys.
Put Thaddy last.
Okay, so.
Because he's got 0.
I do have 0 bonus.
Plus 0 to initiative. I've got a plus 2.
Those to.
You know how many decks?
Ethan?
Yeah, my dex is 10.
Yeah,
It's my worst score.
higher decks.
It's the only one that doesn't have bonus at this point.
It's the one thing I
Oh,
can
there you
beat
go.
Thaddeus in. Everything else is higher.
You guys are all so quick. What the heck?
Yeah, we all rolled real
really
good.
well.
Byakko would not be part of this.
Oh, right, sorry. That was just
Habit.
habit, yeah. Good call.
Zant, you're up first.
Okay, so. What. Are we, like, also on the iceberg?
You are hovering above the iceberg.
Can I plant my bow somewhere? How does that work?
You try and plant it, and as you will yourself to be able to plant it, it seems as if it contacts with solid ground, even though you're still
Oh,
hovering.
fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna do that.
So you use your bonus.
And these things are flying?
Yep.
Alright, sure, we'll do it. So I want to use, let's see, you got.
They are about, so the big red one
Mm-hmm.
is about 30 feet away from you,
Yeah.
and the two sort of feathery winged ones are maybe 60 feet, so they're like 30 feet behind.
Okay, how high are they?
You're all at about the same air level at this point,
What does that mean?
because you're all hovering in the air.
Okay.
So you're maybe like 60 feet off the ground.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. I'll do some attacks with my bow, sharpshooter, everything. Let's see. That's a. And these are fiends,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So that's a 30.
Yes. Which
Okay.
one were you attacking?
Oh, I want to attack the. Let's attack the leathery winged one.
Okay.
And I'll use my bowstring on it. So that is a 6, which is telekinesis. That's weird. And then I also want to do trip attack. So he has to make a DC 21 strength saving throw, I think? 20. DC 20 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
He passes.
Does he? And then he also has to make a DC 15 strength saving throw for telekinesis.
Passes that one.
All right, well, it's still magic damage, so in face. And then
Attacking the big guy or
I am
the
attacking the
little
big guy. That is 11 plus. What we got here? It's 32 damage. Magic. Attack the little guy. That's not very good. That's a. So 16 to hit.
So this was for the other guys.
The little guys, yeah.
Well, they aren't little.
Or the, sorry, not little, I meant the henchmen or whatever you want to call them, the other ones, the statuesque ones.
You said it was 16?
Yes.
Okay. I believe that's a miss.
Right.
Yep. These ones have like full plate armor, and it just glances off the side of that.
Okay, I'll try again.
These look like Legate Glazel, right?
Yep, very similar.
So 22.
That would hit, but one of them pulls a longsword out and just bats it out of the sky.
Okay, well, that's my 3 attacks. So I guess that's my turn.
Mara.
Okay, I'm going to get out.
That's used. That's used.
Let's see. So they're not within 20 feet. They're within 30 feet of each other.
Yep.
So that one won't work. Okay. So I'll get out Fujin and throw it at the one that's closest to me.
Okay. That's the big red-skinned, leathery winged one.
Okay. 13.
13. It bounces off that one's scales as if it were made of like iron or something like that.
Okay, I'll use my bonus action to call it back.
Okay. Anything else from Mara?
That's all I can do right now.
Okay. Harmony.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to, they all look really strong.
Definitely.
Cool. I'm going to crack my fingers, and I'm going to cast Dominate Monster on one of the, armored henchmen.
Okie doke. What kind of save is that?
Wisdom?
Wisdom save.
DC is 23.
That is a pass.
Right? How much? Is it bend lookable? Don't you need to tell me what you rolled?
I don't think I do.
You may as well try it. 'Cause, I mean, this is a. If it succeeds, then you. It's really good.
It's a waste if I don't have to use it, though.
So, since we're in this kind of dream state, can you banish somebody in it?
-2.
It fails.
Oh!
Yes! It rolled exactly a 23.
Oh, good job!
Thank you, Nick, for talking me into it, because I wasn't going to do it.
So you can't take precise control of it, but you can
Tell it to attack
tell
its
it.
friend.
Yep, if that's what you want to do.
Actually,
Do you want the one that has the longsword drawn?
yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to have it attack the big guy.
Okay.
Or the leader, whatever.
The little guy's attacking the big guy.
Then it is Thaddeus.
How far away are we from these things?
Can I use my
30
movement to...
from the red-skinned, leathery winged one. 60 from the other two.
I'm using
Oh.
my movement to hide behind Sam.
Sure,
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to see if I can fly over
Full
to it.
cover.
As you will yourself forward, you certainly can.
All right, and I'm
It's
getting.
kind of strange. You just like want to move forward and then you do.
Yeah.
Almost in an instant.
I'll use my bonus action to call on Asanahan's name and then strike it twice.
Okay.
It's a 19 plus. That's a 30 one time,
Of course.
and then a 23.
I want you to crit so bad.
That also hits.
Please smite him.
Yep, both those will do it.
Yeah.
Critical smite.
I'll put 2 level 2 slots on those. Save the big ones for the crit.
That's right.
If I can get a crit. These count as these are fiends. These are definitely fiends. Let's see. Second level is cold. 5d8 radiant. Okay. So the first hit is
Did you roll with advantage?
yes,
Yes.
both nods.
No.
Oh.
Your saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, they have magic resistance. So.
Well, you would have had advantage anyway because we're fighting.
Oh, I see.
24 radiant and 10 cold. And this is for the big leathery winged one.
Okay. It does resist the cold, so
Okay.
thank you for giving that to me. And how much radiant was it?
24.
Thank you.
That's above average.
Yeah, these are the good dice too. That and the second hit is 29 radiant plus 12 cold.
Okay. It roars in anger at that. Anything else from Thaddeus?
No, that's his movement and his bonus and his action.
It is then his turn.
The main guy, yeah, the pit fiend.
Did he specify it's a pit fiend?
He didn't, but that's fine.
It certainly is a pit fiend, though.
No, I just didn't want to say it if he hadn't actually said it. But we'll just call it the pit fiend, to be fair. What are the other things called?
Aaron, yes. Aaron, yes. Aaron something.
Yeah, Aaron, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Yeah, okay. He will, for his first turn, before he knows how futile this is, he will make attacks against Dias.
How futile.
I mean, it's not futile. He probably hits pretty hard.
Let's see. Okay, so lots of different attacks here. First one's a bite, so that is 28.
I can't do anything about that one.
Next one is a claw, and it's higher than that. Next one is the mace. It's the same as the claw. And the last one is the tail, and it's 26.
I can't do anything about any of those.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Those all hit.
The
That's a
bite,
lot of
let's start with the
attacks.
bite then. That's 28 psychic damage as this thing bites into your body. And you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
You don't have any advantages or resistances to poison?
Not to poison, to disease, but not poison. Pretty good on that con save. That's 22.
Okay. That is enough to resist the poison that is on this creature's bite. Then the claw does 17 psychic damage.
Oh, right, because they're all injuring.
The mace, as its heavy mace swings around and hits you, it does 15 psychic damage plus 21 psychic damage, so 36.
Okay.
And this mace just, basically visually, it looks like it is just a blaze with fire, but it smacks into you and you can just feel, it all is dealt to you as psychic damage. And the tail does 24 psychic damage.
Okay.
2 damage.
And it just roars as it bites,
Oh, he was
claws,
just, there's a modifier
hits
to
you
it.
with its mace,
It's kinda
and
like
then
what we
smacks
have.
you with
We
its
have,
tail.
like, our
And when it sees the
pluses.
state that you're in after that, it just goes, "Pitiful mortal, out of my way!"
Oof, that hurt.
It's a good thing none of those were crits.
Yeah.
How, what's your HP?
I'm at 46.
Out of 100.
Dang.
I was at 4.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
crazy. That's like,
The Aaron yes, then Aaron yes, the one that is under your control will go ahead and make longsword attacks against its companion.
nope, against the pit fiend.
Oh, against the pit fiend, right? Would you roll me? Let me see how many attacks they get.
A lot, I hope.
With pleasure.
3. Roll me 3d20 and add 8 to each.
Oh man. Alright. The lowest one is. I can't do math suddenly. 8 plus 6 is 14.
Mm-hmm.
Lowest one is 14, and then 17, and then 22.
The number you're looking for is 19.
So one hit.
One of them hits.
I rolled real bad.
Roll me a d8 plus 4. Well, actually, 2 hands. So a d10 plus 4.
A D10.
And unfortunately, the other effect of the longsword will have no impact on the...
Plus 4?
Yep.
That's 6.
6.
Jesus. These guys are weak.
Or you picked the wrong one. The other one was like
I know.
crits.
I know, right?
Oh.
I know, right?
It's some small cover, because the other one's probably going to attack me.
It would have done more, and you can see that as the sword cuts in, there's like a dark, poisonous edge to the sword, but it seems to have no effect on the fiend at all.
Nothing at all.
The other, Aaron, yes, instead of pulling out its longsword, pulls out a long bow and will shoot 1, 2, 3 shots.
I'm hiding behind Sam.
Okay, 2 at Xant then.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, but I was like full cover.
Yeah.
23 and 11 to hit Xant.
The 23 hits, the 11 misses.
And then Mara, 15.
No.
You
Misses.
can wait.
Well,
you throw it back, right?
only
Yeah.
if it hits, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Misses.
only the hits. Okay.
So only one hit here.
I thought you could do misses. Oh, that's monk only, isn't it?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't think
That's
she can throw it back anyway.
10 psychic damage.
I have
Catch it.
before.
Okay.
Really? I thought that was the monk.
He allowed it once before. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure.
I mean, you have the cart, right?
Total of 24 psychic damage
To
To you.
to
me?
Xant.
Okay.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
You have advantages against poison, right?
I have advantage against saving throws against fiends.
Yeah, this counts.
Okay. That is
I have
a
advantage.
26.
You pass. Yep. And that is the first round of combat.
This is my infernal
So
constitution.
let's go ahead and end there.
Darn.
Thaddeus is in a pinch. Everyone else is doing fine. And we'll pick up here next week. So thank you to those of you who tuned in. Thank you guys for playing. We'll be back with more Antiheroes Anonymous next week. Bye.
Bye.